Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and today I wanted to just give you a preview of three novels that I've read recently that are great and I think are worth your time. If you're not aware, by trade, I'm an English teacher, so I am reading constantly just to kind of be aware of what's out there in the world of literature. But my favorite genre is science fiction. It's always been science fiction, whether it's in the written word or it's in film. Either way, I love sci-fi. And so I've got three books here that I've recently read that I think are absolutely worth checking out. And I'm hoping to do more of these types of videos in the future. But if you don't read regularly, you should get into the habit of reading regularly. Of course, as an English teacher, I'm going to tell you that. But I think it goes without saying, read, and you'll learn a lot about yourself and about the world around you. And I like science fiction as a genre because it highlights things that we should be concerned about as a species and as human beings. It's just cool to see what kinds of futures might be out there for us, whether good, bad, or ugly, or whether dark or light. There's a lot of ways you could look at that. But the first novel that I wanted to highlight is something called The Punch Escrow. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. I think the title, as some people have noted, I've seen just in reviews that I've read, is not the most accessible thing in the world. And I think when people see it initially, they don't know what in the world it's about. It's a very specific title. But of course, it has a lot to do with the plot, as you would imagine. But this was published in 2016, I believe. The first two novels I'm going to show you were published in 2016 and 2017, respectively, I believe. If I'm getting those wrong, apologies to the authors. But The Punch Escrow is by Tal M. Klein. And it's set in a future where the primary mode of transportation for everybody is teleportation. But there is, as you would imagine, sort of a dark secret underlying what allows that teleportation to take place. And so our main character in this novel, the protagonist, is someone who's just part of a culture where they're used to teleporting to get around not only the country they live in, but the world, because that technology allows that. But as they start to sort of explore what may be going on behind the scenes with that and what the really kind of dark truth about what teleportation really is, things kind of start to unravel, and there's sort of a horrific undercurrent to what's really allowing this mode of transportation to take place. And so, without really spoiling anything in terms of plot points, I'm just going to say read it. I think it's good. I think it's really accessible. I think this is the first novel by this author, but I think overall it's well written. It was engaging. It was a page turner for me, and so I really flew through it quickly. It didn't take me a whole lot of time to read that at all. So when I'm not reading student papers, I like to try and check these novels out when I can, new things that are being published. So the other book that I highly recommend is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Another recent publication, a New York Times bestseller, but really, really well written, and it deals with a lot of things pertaining to quantum physics in regards to alternate realities and what those alternate realities may produce for us and what they may mean. And what the consequences of dabbling in that type of research and that type of the possibilities associated with that, I should say, are really explored in a lot of depth here. It's a really dark book, but it's really engaging and really kind of mind-blowing in a lot of ways. I, again, like The Punch Escrow, found myself reading this into the wee hours of the morning and got through it over the course of a couple of days. But definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something unique to read and something that's going to challenge you intellectually and get you to think a little bit more about what's possible in terms of the universe we exist in. And then an older novel that I came across recently that I had never heard of for whatever reason, but I found on Amazon and I checked it out. It's called Waystation. This was published in 1963, if memory serves, by Clifford Simak, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is really kind of a straightforward old school science fiction. It takes place in, actually a variety of times, but it spans a person's lifetime. And this person serves as sort of a guardian for an alien way station that's been placed on Earth in the guise of a cabin set in the middle of a remote location. And so this way station, sees all types of visitors from around the galaxy and beyond coming and going from Earth. And this person sort of chronicles what that entails and what they learn as a result of that. And there is sort of an overarching story that goes along with it, but really well written. And it feels, even though it is kind of old school and you can tell that in the way that it's written, it feels accessible in a way that you might not expect. So really, really well written. So again, I highly recommend all three of these if you're looking for something new to read, and this is just sort of a preview of what these novels entail. I don't want to get too much into the plots of each of these just because I don't want to spoil anything, but they're definitely worth checking out. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe. And if you've read any of these, let me know what you think about them. Do you agree with me? Do you think they are great novels? Do you see things in these that you don't like? Give me some feedback. Tell me what you think. And again, I hope to have more of these types of videos coming up soon. As we move into the latter part of this week and heading into next week, I'm going to be doing a couple of different videos, one of which will be a review, hopefully, of John Wick 3, if we can find a babysitter and make it out of the house to go see that. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and have a good start to your week. Thanks.